Hey everyone, this week we're going to talk through what I bought from the John Humphreys Kiss auction at Backstage Auctions. Man, there was a lot of stuff, and I got a hold of a little bit of it, so we're going to go through it and let's get to it. Hey everybody, it's the Snowman with TooLoud2oldMusic.com. Welcome back to the collection. This week, we're going to go through what I bought from the John Humphrey auction that happened at Backstage Auctions. If you saw on Kiss My Collectibles, they talked to John Humphreys and he's selling off his Kiss collection. Well, except for the vinyl. And I would have loved to tried for some of the vinyl, but he did all the other, everything else, all the merchandise, CDs, 8 tracks, everything else but the vinyl. And I really loved looking through all that. Man, he had some really cool stuff, like the Kiss Bell that they played during their first tour. One of a kind of thing. Just some really, really cool stuff in there. One of the things I bid on that I completely lost out on because it went way too high was a group of 8 tracks that had Unmasked and Elder, Creatures, Lick It Up, Animalize, and these were still sealed, or most of them were. On their own, they're crazy prices. Kiss Unmasked might be the easiest one to get, but anything after that, just almost impossible. And I lost out. It just got way too high and I couldn't do it. So that's okay. I decided then, I looked at some other items and I saw the bootlegs. I have like 25 vinyl bootlegs, but I don't have as many CDs. And so I really, really got drawn to those. And so he had those in 2 lots. One lot was 24 disc, and it was like mostly live shows, some demos included, but most of it was live. And then the other lot was about 14 disc, were demos, TV appearances recorded, and then some interview disc. I didn't really care about the interview disc, but I really wanted the demo disc. So I got those, bid on both of those lots, and ended up winning them. I didn't think it was too crazy of a price. So I'm happy with what I got. I mean, it's a lot of stuff, 38 CDs, some really cool stuff. Now, some of the shows I have on vinyl, or most, not most, but either full shows or part shows. But I don't really record my vinyl down to digital or anything. But now I have them on CD. I can burn them onto CD and go from there. So we'll kick it off. We have Wicked Lester, and there's a sticker on here. He bought it for 19.99, which who knows what he actually bought it for, but that's what the sticker says. So the first 9 tracks on here are Wicked Lester demos. The next 5 are Kiss demos from the first album. Do Strutter, Cold Gin, Watching You, and Black Diamond. Those were the demos. And the last 5 are live tracks from the Academy of Music in New York on December 31st, 1973. So these came yesterday, so I haven't listened to anything yet. So that's the Wicked Lester. Next is this Australian release called Unauthorized. This is live volume 1, and I believe there is a volume 2. And actually, um, there's a ton of artists that they do these things for. Um, this is 8 live tracks. It doesn't really say where they're from or when they're recorded. Uh, so I don't have really any information on that. And especially since I haven't listened to it, I don't really know where it's from or what. So I haven't even dug in to see anything either. All right. The next thing we have is Days of Sorrow and Madness. So this really cool. It's got pictures, opens up further. It's got the CD in here, Godfather Records. Who knows what that is? Okay. And we got that in there. All right. So tracks 1 through 6 on this are recorded at the Independence Hall in Baton Rouge, Louisiana on July 16th, 1974. Tracks 7 through 14 on this are live at the Bayou in Washington, D.C., March 25th, 1974. I think they got the cities and everything mixed up because live at the Bayou sounds like it would be in Baton Rouge, and Independence Hall sounds like it would be in Washington, D.C. So I think they messed that up on here, and I'm sure they did. But the dates are probably right. But still, to get some stuff from 1974, I think is really really cool. Uh, the next thing we have is called Electric Magic. Seems to be probably by the same company of Godfather, because it is another trifold. The disc is also the Godfather thing on there. So probably the same company and around the same time. Yeah, Godfather Records. All right. Electric Magic was live at the brewery in East Lansing, Michigan on October 21st, 1974. So 12 tracks of a live show. Early Kiss. Can't go wrong with that. Um, the next one on the list is actually one I already had. I have three CDs, well, four if you count this little box set, which I can pull out at the end. But it's a Gore Ballroom, 1974. So this is a radio broadcast out of Cleveland. Um, it includes tracks 1 through 8 are other broadcast. 9 through 11 are ABC in concert for March 29th, 1974. And then 12 and 13 are songs from the Mike Douglas Show on April 29th, 1974. Those two shows are going to show up much later in our discussion. But that's one I already had. So I have a duplicate. So now I got to find someone that maybe needs that one. All right. Then we have Live 1974. This one right here, it says on the back from the collection of John Humphrey. So my guess on this one is he made this himself because it's definitely looks like a homemade kind of CD. Um, but this show is Washington, D.C., March 25th, 1974. Um, so it is just like the show on Days of Sorrow and Madness. That's also here as well. So little duplicate, that's okay. But still, it actually says from the collection of John Humphrey. So I like that. I'm okay with that. All right, the next one we have is Peter, Gene, Paul, and Ace. This is a 2 CD set we have. Um, so I got to be real careful. So there's 2 CDs. Here's the first one. Second one's on the other side. This has parts of like 3 different shows. Tracks 1 through 9 are from Detroit, Michigan of April 7th, 1974. Tracks 10 through 12 on disc 1 and tracks 1 through 6 on disc 2 are from Washington, D.C. on July 14th, 1974. And then tracks 7 to 13 on CD2 are from Long Beach, California from May 3rd, 1974. So they played a lot in Detroit and a lot in Washington. And they played a lot of shows in the early 70s for sure. So, all right, the next one. This one is called Flaming Years. Um, Great picture of Gene on the back. And there's the stuff there. Flaming Years appears to be out of Italy. It was made in Italy, released in 1994, and it seems to be the Toronto show from the Destroyer World Tour on September 6th, 1976. So definitely don't have that show, but so that's a cool. And then here's one of my favorite ones, favorite covers anyway. This one is called Unnecessary Evil. It's from Anaheim Stadium. Um, August 20th, 1976. This particular one on CD was released in 1992. Um, but yeah, it's 18 tracks. It's got solos and stuff. So looks like it could be a full show. Uh, but yeah, I do love the comic book cover there and stuff. So, all right. Then we have The Spirit of 76. This one is from Richfield Coliseum in Cleveland, Ohio, um, on September 3rd, There we go. Got it to open up. From September 3rd, 1976. It looks like it was released in 2011 on CD. Uh, just a digipack, because we know digipacks weren't around early on. At least I don't believe they were. Another digipack we have is a really cool, and this was called Return to Thunder. Really like that cover. Um, and this is just simply, there's no gatefold. You do have some cool pictures in here. I do love the insert here. Um, but the CD, I'm sure. Oh, the CD is pretty cool too. The CD's the rock and roll over stuff. So, all right, this one is what Return to Thunder. So this is from Curtis Guild Armory in Reading, Massachusetts on November 15th, 1976. And then it's got a couple tracks, tracks 20 to 22 from her Hangar E at Stewart International Airport in Newburgh, New York on July 2nd, 1976. And then track 23 is an interview with Gene that was done on Earth News Radio on September 7th, 1976. So really cool stuff there. All right, another digipack coming. This one is called a Detroit Trilogy. Um, like that one, it's got pictures, so definitely by the same company. Um, this is a Cobo Hall show. Cobo Arena in Detroit, January 27th, 1976. And then the picture disc there as well. Um, so this show, man, all the Detroit shows are pretty awesome. So I'll be interesting to hear this one. So yeah, Detroit Trilogy from January 27th, 1976. All right. Then we got the Houston Summit, the Summit, from September 2nd, 1977. This one was released on CD in 1992 on Deep Records, but it's garbage. It's a bootleg. Um, but that's it. I don't have any other information on that one. But the Houston show, and part of me wonders if I have this one already on vinyl, but I don't know. I don't know. So many to go through. All right. That was the Houston Summit. Then we're on to Madison Square Garden. This particular one was recorded on February 18th, 1977. I love the picture, famous picture with them and all their parents. Uh, this again has a little pictures, and then it's got the cool insert with the stuff. And then there's usually a picture disc, and it says, I love New York. That's awesome. So he's got a lot from this one particular company that they do seem to do quality stuff. But the Madison Square Garden, February 18th, 1977. Then we got a couple really cool ones from Japan. This is the Kabuki Beast. Um, and this is from Kyoto, and I can't even pronounce the hall it's on, but it's Kyoto, Japan, on March 26th, 1977. Again, like the last few, it has pictures. This one has a whole bunch stuff. And this is actually more of a poster, little bitty poster. Um, and then the Kyoto Hall CD. So this particular, like I said, this one's Japan. Um, then we have, wow, this is a box set, or it's in a box. So we'll figure out this one in just a second. I know I probably should have taken these out beforehand, but I didn't. This is Snake Attack Budokan and Kiss. This particular one is in Budokan Hall in Tokyo, Japan on a Monday, April 4th, 1977. Um, and it's got a great picture of the band there, but it's not one, it's not two, It's four different discs. Um, yeah. So yeah, there's just four CDs. They all seem to be the same show. Um, but I'm wondering, maybe it's just different seats or different something where they've recorded it from. I'll find out. I haven't listened to it yet, so I don't have any kind of clue. Um, but now I'm really excited to listen to that one. That'll be cool. Japanese shows, I mean, Japanese shows are always cool. All right, then we have Kiss Alive 2, The Lost Album. Um, and why do I say that is a lost album? Um, this might be John Humphrey's made because it does say, well, maybe he made the insert. Maybe he made the insert. So it's from the John Humphrey collection. All right. So this one is, where is it? Tracks 1 through 11 are from Tokyo, April 1977. So probably from the show on the other CD that I just showed that were supposed to be done for Alive 2, but they were never released. Tracks 12 through 16 are some alternate mixes of the Alive 2 studio recordings, and tracks 17 through 20 are demos from Gene's solo album. So lots of cool stuff. Now, this one has never even been taken out of the shrink wrap. It's Kiss Live. It's from the Capitol Center in Largo, Maryland on December 20th, 1977. We have 12 songs on here, so I don't think it's the full show. I have that on vinyl, so I've heard this show before. Uh, all right, then we have Rock and Roll Party 1978. This one is still in the thing, but it wasn't sealed, so I'm taking it out. Disc one and tracks. Oops, I'm gonna have to replace this one. But disc one and five tracks on disc two are live from March 31st, 1978. It doesn't say where, which I guess I could Google and find out. And then disc tracks 7 through 10 on disc two are some Destroyer demos. Um, so, all right. I've always wanted to get some bootlegs from the Australian shows. And here we have Live in Australia, 1980. So, of course, the Australian tour. This one was supposedly limited to 1,000 copies. Woo! It's bootleg. They're all limited. And it also has some rare songs from Fancy Fair album, which are demos they have from Vinny, from Gene, and from Ace. So, yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing some Australian show. I don't think I have any Australian shows in my demos or in my vinyl bootlegs. All right, then if you remember, we had an unauthorized before. Well, this one we have unauthorized Rocks Volume 1 and Rocks Volume 2. Uh, the Volume 1 is live from the USA. Don't know where, don't know when, but it's from 1975 to 1985, so we don't know which song is from what. The Volume 2 one are live songs out of Europe from 1984. So it covers a whole gamut of shows and pieces from shows. So don't know anything about those other than that. All right. Then I got one. It's one of my favorite ones with the cover. Um, it's the 10th anniversary, and it's got Vinny and everybody in makeup with the Creatures tank. Um, it's from Universal Amphitheater in University City, California on March 27th, 1983. And then most of disc two is from Rio de Janeiro in Brazil from June 18th, 1983. And this is Godfather Records, which we've got a bunch from Godfather Records, but a two-disc set with two shows um, on it. So really, I just, Creatures Tour, man, I didn't see my first Kiss show until Lick It Up Tour. So that one, that's, well, till they had their makeup off the makeup. All right, then we have Detroit 1984, another Detroit show. This one's Cobo Hall, like most of them are, on December 12th, 1984. And this is another Deep Records one, which we've seen before. And this was released in 1992. And so that was all the lot, the first lot that I bought, 24 CDs. Lots of stuff, lots of stuff. Um, but now we have the demos and the interview disc. So we're gonna go now with music from Fridays. This one says on the back, you know, here on the bottom, it says record. No, it says it in here again, uh, from the John Humphreys collection. So, and it looks very homemade and stuff. So he might have made this one himself. And on this one, we do have three songs that were performed on the Friday TV show from The Elder. So it's The Oath, A World Without Heroes, and I. Then he added four songs, the four studio songs from Kiss Killers. So what do you get? I'm a Legend Tonight, Down on Your Knees, Nowhere to Run, Partners in Crime. And then track 8 is Don't Run, the Elder demo, which is from Ace Frehley. Um, so yeah, this one kind of looks like a homemade thing that he might have done, but it's still cool. I'm happy with that one. Then we get Kiss Unplugged. Um, Not MTV Unplugged, just Kiss Unplugged. Um, so nice little picture disc there. So, all right, this one says for promotional use only. Oh well. Various acoustic recordings from 1983 all the way up. Oh, no, 1993 to 1994. Oh, there is a 1990 here with Ace Frehley and Skid Row, Cold Gin, that was recorded in 1990. So a lot of little stuff. There's got some Paul Stanley stuff, band stuff, Gene stuff, an acoustic jam session with Eric Carr. So really interested in hearing all the stuff on that one. All right, then another cool cover. This is Watching Us. This one is really cool. It is all these TV appearances that the band has made worldwide. Um, and just some really cool stuff. We have the ABC in concert from March 29th, 1974, and the Mike Douglas show from May 21st, 1974, which we had on one of those earlier bootlegs that I had. Then we have songs from Midnight Special, aired on July 11th, 1975. The Young Music Show in Japan on April 2nd, 1977. Dick Clark's Golden Greats. So there was one song, I think, from that from October 22nd of 1986. We have The Inner Sanctum in Australia from November 22nd, 1980. And then some songs from Fridays again, this time July 14th, 1992. So a whole bunch of stuff. Really cool thing to have all those kind of shows gathered up in one place. Then we've got one I really was excited about. This is Feel Like Heaven, and this is demos. These are going to be various demos. I think there's 11 of them. Oh, no, just demos and remixes. Um, there's 17 of them on this one, from 1976 all the way up to 1980. So, looking through it, let's put the X and Sax remix, um, Rock to be rocked, Ace demo. I mean, there's just a whole bunch of cool demos on here that I can't wait to get into. Then we have Kiss and Ace demos. This one has some Wicked Lester. So tracks 1 through 10 are Wicked Lester. Tracks 11 through 15 are just various Kiss demos. Hide Your Heart, Rock and Roll All Night, Do You Love Me, Flamin' Youth. Tracks 16 through 18 are Ace demos with Coming Back, audio video, The Girl Can't Dance. And then track 19 is a commercial that aired um, about the originals when they were selling that one. All right. Then we got like what could very well be another homemade um, package, except it's a really good picture on the CD there. Um, but this is just called Destroyer Demos. There's 11 tracks from 1976, as you can see. I don't know if it'll show up. But yeah. Um, so some more demos. And then another one, these next two I was really excited about. One is the Ultimate Outtakes CD set, and it's called Not for the Innocent. Um, so it's a bunch of demos. Um, there's the CD, got stuff there and there. Um, just a whole bunch of demos, and it's even got a booklet on stuff. Not for the Innocent. It's like I said, just two CD set of demos. From they're all over the place. Some of these sound like the songs that were on the Vault. Some I don't have. But yeah, I mean, just a whole, I mean, just a ton of songs on here, at least 20 or more on each disc. So really cool, exciting for that one. And then the other one I was really excited about, what goes on behind closed doors. I love that picture there. So more pictures inside. We got CDs, another Godfather records. So they do a lot of demo, a lot of stuff for sure. The first one um, is just, again, it's just a bunch of demos. Looks like some stuff from Elder, um, Dirty Living. We've got Rumble. There's nothing better. Then disc two is the Wicked Lester album, which is the 2001 box set mix. Um, so yeah, more demos. I love demos. And again, some of these sound like some of the names that were on the Vault from Kiss. Uh, and that's all the demos. So the rest of these are just interview disc. This is the interviews, volume two. Um, I'm not real thrilled about these at all. Will I listen to them? Yeah, probably once. And then that's it. They'll be buried forever. This one has two interviews with Gene, one discussing the history of Kiss and one discussing Kiss in the 90s. Ooh. Then we got another Gene Simmons interview. This is on Howard Stern. So this is all his interview he did with Howard. It doesn't say what year or anything, so there's really no telling. Um, they talk about steak and ice cream, Tommy Lee, Y2K, John Bon Jovi, The Price is Right, Suzanne Summers, talk about everything. Um, yeah. Now, this one I've actually seen before, but I never bought it. This is 15 years on, limited edition. It's got, um, it just doesn't tell me who's on it or who's interviewing, but I assume it's the band or some members of the band. Then we get another one. This is Telltale, Kiss Telltales. It's a UK release with a picture disc. Um, don't know anything else about that one. Then we have the classic interviews. This also includes a 16-page color booklet um, with it. Like here's the booklet, and then here's the CD. I didn't really look to see what was in here. We have Gene Simmons for 50 minutes. That's a lot of Gene Simmons. Paul Stanley's only on just under 20, and Ace is just under 8 minutes. Um, looks like this is from 1978, shortly after the release of the solo albums. Um, so yeah, so that could be interesting and stuff. But yeah, of course, Gene, we know Gene loves to hear himself talk, and 50 minutes of that on there. Sounds like fun. Not really. All right, then the last one is the 25th anniversary star profile, which has this massively thick 100-page book of writings and pictures and all sorts of stuff. And then it's got the CD. Um, it's a German release, though the CD, the booklet was made in the UK. Um, comes in a box. Um, yeah, interview disc. So, not totally thrilled. Not totally thrilled with it. So sorry, my phone went off. Uh, and that is everything. I mean, here was lot one, and here was the other lot. I mean, I don't know what the real lot numbers were, but yeah, 38 CDs from the John Humphreys collection. That's a lot of stuff to go through. This is going to keep me busy for a long time. And you know what? I'll probably review each and every single one of these, except maybe the interview disc on the site. So if you go to tooloud2oldmusic.com over the next 38 to 40 weeks, I'm sure one day a week I'll have a review on one of these. So yeah, that's all I have for you. Thanks for watching. And next week we'll do our April wrap up. Got a bunch of good stuff in there to show off. Uh, Figured this had to have its own show with as many as it is and for the topic. So thanks again. Click like, hit subscribe, leave a comment, do any of that stuff. That or all three of those things would be great. And then that's what we have for you. So we'll see you next time on the collection.